Hello there, Guy here from Millward Music. Today I thought it might be helpful to spend some time looking at ornamentation. I'll be demonstrating on the Irish Bouzouki here, but most of these techniques transfer well to other fretted instruments, tenor guitar, mandolin and so on. Some will also be recognisable to players of fretless instruments like violin or a fretless banjo, though the mechanics for certain techniques there may be a little bit different. This video will hopefully serve as a reference for the other videos, so if you're watching a lesson where we're learning a specific tune and I mention a technique without going into detail, this is a good place to come. I should mention before we get started that I'm still a student myself, and a lot of what I'm sharing here is what I've picked up along the way from my mentors and from listening and watching others play, but hopefully this can still provide some value to anyone who's interested. So what actually is ornamentation and why does it matter? Well, put simply, ornamentation refers to the techniques we can use to decorate a melody. In Irish and Scottish traditional music, the melody itself is often fairly straightforward. A lot of the character comes from how you play it. It's useful to bear in mind that ornamentation isn't just decoration for its own sake, it serves the rhythm and the melody. A well-placed ornament adds emphasis or drives the tune forward. A poorly placed one can disrupt the flow. So as you learn these techniques, it's helpful to think about where and why you're using them, not just how. Different players ornament differently and there are no strict rules. A lot of it comes down to personal taste and what feels natural to you. But there are some common techniques that you'll hear widely used, and those are what we'll be covering today. I'll be demonstrating each technique using examples from some of the tunes which I cover in the video lessons. The A parts of those lessons are available for free on the channel and include the relevant tabs and notation. I've also added links in the description below to download the tabs and notation for the tunes I'll be referring to today. Without further ado then, let's look at the first technique. For the first technique then, we're going to look at a slide. So a slide is where you pick a note, so let's just take our first string 4th fret here as an example, and then we're going to slide our finger up into that note, typically from 1 or 2 frets below in one smooth movement, so like so. One more time. So usually you would only pick the string once and then the slide would carry you up to that note. As another example then, say you would like to play the 5th fret on your 3rd string, so your low D string here, you'd pick the 3rd fret and then slide up to the 5th, so something like this. So try to keep an even pressure there and a controlled motion, so the pitch changes smoothly between those two notes. You could also slide downward, so picking above the target note and sliding down into it, though this tends to be less common in traditional Irish and Scottish music. It is definitely something you'll see though with people playing old-time fretless banjo, but that would be like this. So the slide generally works well at the beginning of a phrase or on longer notes where there's room for it. As I mentioned before, it's worth thinking about where and why you're using it, rather than just applying it everywhere. So to show this better in context, we're going to look at an example now in the tune Winter is Cancelled by Tyne Berens. The first slide is going to be in the A part, so that will be line 2, measure 2, count 1. I'll go ahead and play the A part then, first of all without the slide. And now adding that slide in, we have this. So you'll see there we're sliding into measure 2, count 1 of the second line. So I'll go ahead and just play just the second line on its own, just to kind of isolate that a little bit. First of all then, without the slide. And now playing that again, but this time adding the slide in, so we have this. I'll play that one more time, just a little bit slower, so we have this. Just to clarify a little further there, so we're on our 3rd string 4th fret, and we're sliding up to our 3rd string 5th fret. Next up we have a hammer-on. This is where we are picking a string and then, without picking again, bringing a finger down firmly onto a fret, hard enough that the next note rings clearly. So something like this. So we're moving from a lower pitch to a higher one, and we're getting 2 notes from a single pick stroke. You can start from an open string, pick it and then hammer onto a fret as we just did. Or you can start from a fretted note and hammer onto a higher fret. Either way, the principle is the same. So the firmness of the finger coming down is important. If you're too tentative, you'll get kind of a weak muffled sound, so something maybe like, or no sound at all. So what you want to do is aim to bring that finger down decisively right behind the fret there. The context example we'll look at here is in the tune Calliope House by Dave Richardson. One place I like to add a hammer on here is in the A part, so line 3, measure 1, count 1. I'll play the full A part first of all without the ornamentation. I'll play that again then, adding the hammer on in this time. The difference is going to be fairly subtle, but we'll break this down in a moment. So we have this. So to break that down a little bit further, I'll play just line 3 on its own, first of all without the hammer on, so we have this. And now I'll add the hammer on in, so notice there it's right at the beginning here, so it's the first measure, count 1, so we have this. Just to further clarify that, so before the ornamentation we're playing this. So notice we're picking all of those notes. And then once we add in that hammer on, we're going to do this. So notice we're only picking that once at the start. This next technique is one I refer to as a quick hammer-on. Essentially, it is a variation on the standard hammer-on that we just looked at. The difference is in the timing, so essentially how quickly you bring the finger down after picking the note. So with a regular hammer-on, the 2 notes are spread over 2 counts. So you can pick on count 1 and then hammer on count 2. 1, 2. With a quick hammer-on the other hand, both notes happen within a single count. So you pick the note and almost immediately bring the finger down so the 2 notes are compressed together. So you can make the gap so short that it almost sounds like a single note with a slight articulation at the start. So this technique has a clear ornamental quality where it's less about two distinct notes and more about adding a brief decoration to a single melody note. So it takes some practice to get both kind of sounds speaking clearly, especially at speed. The best thing to do is start off slowly and just gradually build that up. So you can just start off with kind of a regular hammer-on, and then gradually get a little bit faster, and then faster still, and then now at this point you're going to basically be squishing them right together. The context example we'll look at here is in the tune En Cocher, or The Party. We can use this in the A part, so line 1, measure 1, count 7. I'll play the full A part then, first of all without the quick hammer-on. And now adding that in, then we have this. Looking a little more closely then at line 1, so it's going to be measure 1, count 7 where we play the quick hammer-on. So I'll just play that first line then, first of all without the ornamentation, so we have this. And now adding in the quick hammer-on, we have this. So that's. Looking next then at the pull-off. So a pull-off is pretty much the reverse of a hammer-on. We're moving from a higher pitch to a lower one. You pick a fretted note and then pull that finger off the string so that a lower note rings out. So that can either be a lower fretted note if you have a finger already in place, or as I just showed, it can be pulling off to an open string. The pulling motion does matter here, so rather than just lifting the finger straight off like so, which doesn't really make much of a sound at all, you want a slight downward flick towards the floor, which sets the string vibrating and gives you a clear, audible note. Similar as with the hammer-on, you're getting two notes from a single pick stroke. It's worth noting here as well that hammer-ons and pull-offs are often used together in combination to give you a series of notes from a single pick stroke. So just as an example, preparing this video made me realise that standalone pull-offs are something I use a lot more on the clawhammer banjo than on the bouzouki or tenor guitar. That being said, I found a few places where I can demonstrate the technique, all in the A part of a tune called The Rollicking Skipper. So they're going to be on lines 1, measure 1, count 4, and lines 3, measure 1, count 4. I'll play through the whole A part then, first of all without that ornamentation. And now adding in those pull-offs, we have this. Just to hopefully make that a little bit clearer, I'll play through the first line without any ornamentation, so that would be this. And now adding that in, we have this. I'll play that again a little bit slower. It's a subtle difference there, and typically I would just pick these notes normally without the pull-offs, but it can be nice to include them now and again. Using a pull-off makes the change between the notes sound a little bit smoother and softer, I think, and that can add some variety to your playing, certainly giving you options and one of the more gentle ways to decorate a melody. This next technique is what I refer to as a quick pull-off. So a quick pull-off is the same idea as a quick hammer-on but in reverse. Rather than two notes being spread over two counts like with a regular pull-off, 1, 2, both happen within a single count, so you pick the note and almost immediately pull off, compressing the timing so the two notes are very close together. So the shorter you make that gap, the more it sounds like a single note with a brief decoration rather than two distinct notes. You can apply this to any pull-off situation, from a fretted note to a lower fretted note, or from a fretted note down to an open string. So getting the timing right there takes some practice, but starting slowly and again just gradually building up and compressing the gap between the two notes is a good approach. So for example, you could start just with like a normal pull-off, just a little bit quicker, and then let's take a look at an example then. So for context, we're going to be looking at a tune called The Gander in the Pratie Hole. So we'll add this to the A part, so that's going to be line 4, measure 1, count 4. So same as one I just showed you, we're going to be pulling off from our first string 4th fret to our first string 2nd fret. So I'll go ahead and play the full A part then, first of all without the quick pull off. And now adding that in. So just focusing in then on that 4th and final line of the A part, I'll play that through then first of all without the quick pull off. And now adding in the quick pull off, we have this. One more time, nice and slow. This next technique is what I know as a cut. I think it's one of the most characteristic ornaments in Irish traditional music, originating from the uilleann pipes and fiddle playing. So a cut is similar to a very quick hammer-on followed immediately by a very quick pull-off, except we're not going to be... So the hammer note is so brief that you don't really hear it as a separate note at all. It's more of a muted percussive effect, acting as a brief interruption or articulation of the melody note. I found that it helps to think of it more as a tapping motion, where the finger briefly touches down on the string above the melody note and then is coming straight back off. So the hammer note is typically a semitone or a tone above the melody note, though different players can approach it differently. The context example we'll use for this one is in a tune called The Star Above the Garter, There's a couple of places we can include this in the A part. The first will be line 1, measure 1, count 4, and the second on line 2, measure 1, count 7. I'll start then by playing through the whole A part, first of all without those ornamentations. The example we'll use for this one is in a tune called The Star Above the Garter. There's a few places we can include this in the A part, so we have line 1, measure 1, count 4, line 2, measure 1, count 7, and line 3, measure 1, count 4. I'll start off then by playing through the whole A part, first of all without any ornamentation. And now adding those cuts in, we have this. Looking a bit closer at line 1 then, I'll play through that line first of all without the cut. And now adding the cut in, we have this. Next up then is the triplet. So definitions of the triplet can vary slightly, but put simply, it's 3 notes played in the space of 2. So where you normally play 2 notes, you'd fit 3 into that same amount of time. The 3 notes can be 3 different pitches moving up or down, or they can move up and then back down, or down and then back up. You can also play the same note 3 times in quick succession, which is sometimes used to decorate a longer note. There are a couple of ways to approach triplets. The first is a picked triplet, using the picking hand to add an extra pick stroke to fit 3 notes in the space of 2. The second is a fingered triplet, which uses the fretting hand, combining a hammer-on and a pull-off to get 3 notes from a single or double pick stroke. Today we'll be focusing on the fingered triplet, as this is the one I usually play and have more experience with. If you are keen to learn more about the picked triplet, then Robin Jones has a really good video which covers this in detail, so I'd highly recommend checking that one out. So to give an example of the fretted triplet in context, we're going to look again at the star above the garter. I'll play through the A part then, first of all without any ornamentation. And now I'll add that triplet in, so it's going to be line 1, measure 1, count 10, and also line 3, measure 1, count 10. I'll go again a little bit slower this time. Breaking that down further, the second half of that first line then, so that's count 7 to 12, I'll play that first of all without the triplet. And adding the triplet in, we have this. So what's actually happening there is on count 10 of that first line, so the final group of 3, we're starting on our second string, second fret, then keeping our index finger down on the second fret, we're using our middle finger to hammer onto the third fret and then pulling back off to the second fret before striking our second string open for the final count of the measure. So we have, and again, I'll just count that out as well, just to make it a little bit more clear. So we have 1, 2, 3. And again, 1, 2, 3. So that gives us 3 quick notes in place of 2, and then you just carry on with the phrase as normal. I'll play through the A part again then, just so you can hear that all connected together. I'll also include the cuts that we looked at in the previous section. Finally, we're going to look at a technique called a pinch. This is where we pluck 2 strings simultaneously using 2 fingers of the picking hand, giving us 2 notes at once. So it produces a different sound and texture than picking a single string or strumming across 2, and it's useful for emphasising certain moments in a melody or adding a chordal quality to a phrase, particularly in some of the slower tunes. To put this in context then, we'll use an example in the B part of Miss McDermott. So we're going to be including this in line 1, measure 2, count 1. I'll go ahead and just play through the first 2 lines, first of all without the ornamentation. And now adding the pinch in, we have this. To clarify here, I'm performing the pinch using my middle finger on the 2nd string and my ring finger on the 1st string. So I'll play that again nice and slowly. You could also play this same example using the pick combined with just the middle finger instead, which would probably be considered more of a hybrid pick than a true pinch. I'll just show you that example there. So we have Either approach works well here. It really just comes down to what sound you prefer and what feels more comfortable to you. With all of these ornaments, the note that really matters is the one landing on the beat. The ornament should lead into or decorate that note, not push it off time. If adding ornaments starts making the main notes arrive late, it's worth just pulling back and simplifying things until the timing feels solid again. A clean note played straight in the right place is usually better than a cluttered ornament that disrupts the flow. To be honest, I mostly practice these techniques by working them into tunes I'm already learning. However, putting this lesson together has really made me think I should take more time to slow things down and practice each technique in isolation. With that in mind, here's a simple exercise if you would like to try. Pick any single note on your instrument, so let's just say 1st string 4th fret, which is F sharp. So now try playing it in the following ways, one at a time. So first we could try it straight without any ornamentation. Now with a slide up from 2 frets below. We could do a hammer on from 2 frets below. A quick hammer on. We could do a pull off from 1 fret above. A quick pull off. We could do a cut here. And we could do a triplet. Finally, we could also do a pinch. Just on our 1st and 2nd strings there. So as you can see there, just that one note, 9 different ways of playing it. If you just listen to how each one changes the character of the note and then pick a different note and do the same exercise. Okay, that's where we'll leave it for today. I hope this has given you some useful material to work with. As I said at the start, I'm still learning a lot of this myself, so if you have any thoughts, corrections or things to add, please do leave a comment. I genuinely find these conversations useful. And if you found this helpful, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. It really helps out. Thanks for watching then, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day.